So basically, I was put in an alternative school, I want to say like 2 months ago, and I was in there for about a month and a half just because of my attendance. I wasn't going to school, and I was going to fail for the year, so like, you have to go to this alternative school. And I was like, okay, whatever. Little did I know it was going to be like a prison. So when I was told about this alternative school, I was told it was a mental health school because I was depressed and I needed to have extra therapy and extra guidance and all this other shit. And once I arrived there, I realized that that was not the case at all of how things were going to be while I was in there. Like, my first day, okay? So I go there. They pat me down. They wand me. I have to empty out my pockets, give them my book bag, give them my phone. They go through my book bag, make sure my phone is turned off. They lock it into this little cupboard thing. And I go through, and I have to go to what they called the atrium, which is where you ate breakfast and lunch. And there are kids who live there and are literally stuck there with no phone, no computer, no free access to anything. Thankfully, I was not in that position, but yeah, so I go into the atrium, and I'm surrounded by all these kids. They have, like, this little itty-bitty lunch bar thing at the front, and there's, like, hard-boiled eggs, where you get a hard-boiled egg for breakfast, and, like, a yogurt and a milk, and, like, a banana if you want a banana. And you get, like, they take everybody back in, like, 3 groups. So, like, group 1, if you're done eating, you go to classes. Group 2, you're done eating, go to classes. Group 3, same thing. So I ate whatever. I think that morning it was, like, cereal or something. And I'm going back to my classroom, and each part that you go into has to be unlocked by somebody, because you don't just get free reign. So they unlock the door, and I walk back, and I have my binder, which I was not even supposed to have a binder or a pencil case, but I had one. And I was walking past, and this little girl, like, full sprints past me, and I didn't know that there were going to be, like, 12th graders through, like, 2nd, 3rd graders there. Okay. And so I'm walking in the hallway, and this little girl sprints past me, like, Riley, stop. And I was like, what the fuck did I do? Like, I've been in here for, like, 3 minutes. They're like, not you, the little girl. I was like, oh, y'all better go get her. And they were like, all you have to do is read chapter 3. Like, sit down and read chapter 3. And she was like, fuck chapter 3. I'm not reading that. And I was like, oh, okay, so this is how this is going to be. Mind you, the hallways, as soon as you walked through the actual school part of it, smelled like straight up pee. It was nasty. There was no candles, no air freshener. It didn't smell nice. It smelled like kids peed on the floor, and the floors were carpet. So a kid probably did pee on the floor. So I'm like in my first class, everything is normal, and I'm talking to people, just like trying to get the feel of everybody, who to stay away from, who to be nice to, that sort of thing. And this kid comes up to me, and he's like, what are you here for? And I was like, my attendance. He was like, oh, I wish I was here for that. And I was like, what are you here for then? He was like, oh, I got caught smoking a blunt on the back of the school bus, and I was court ordered to come here, or I would have gone to, like, Schumann, like, be locked up. And I was like, oh. Okay. So this isn't a mental health school. It's a full-out alternative school, which I should have gotten that by the fact that I was being patted down and wanded whenever I walked through the door, but it's classes themselves were okay. The weird thing was there was 3 teachers in every classroom. There's, like, 1 teacher and, like, 2 teachers' assistants, I guess, for, like, behavior. Speaking of behavior, okay, so you get a folder with your name on it and your face on the front of it, and it goes to you with every single class. Like, teachers are in charge of giving it to other teachers, and in there, you can earn 4 points for each period, and then get taken away 4 points for, like, respect, safety, on task, and, like, staying in area. And if you lose more than 6 points, you don't get what was called incentive, which was last period. Like, you could watch a movie, or you could work out in a classroom, or play video games, or something. It's highly annoying. You could not get away with anything. The bathrooms. There were no mirrors. No mirrors. The toilet paper was on the regular thing. There were no paper towels in the bathroom. They were outside of the bathroom. To go to the bathroom, you had to be escorted. The teacher had to look in the bathroom. They stood outside of the door, while you used the bathroom. And it was this dingy little broken up tile. There's holes in the wall, like nasty, just it smelled whenever you opened the door. It was nasty. And you'd leave the bathroom, they'd check the bathroom, you'd get your paper towels, wipe your hands off, throw them away, and then you'd get escorted back to class. And while you were being escorted to and from the bathrooms, you would see all kinds of things. There were little kids, I shit you not, I saw like a 7 or 8 year old being pinned down by adults, like each adult, like on each of his limbs there was an adult holding this little kid down. Don't know what it was for, but you will get restrained in a heartbeat. They do not care. You smart off to a teacher and you show any sign of aggression, you will be pinned the fuck down. Whether it's on a wall, whether it's in the CDR, and the CDR is this little tiny room that's like sketchy as hell. Whenever you're not in it, it looks like whatever, but whenever you're in there, it is sketchy. There's light blue on the walls, there's marker, like the wall colors are light blue, there's markers and there's pins all over the walls, there's holes in the wall, the floor is nasty, dingy tile, there's this ceiling light that they were like bar lights, like those bars in the ceiling, but it had like a grid over it, and you turned the light on and it literally went zzz, like buzzed and flickered while it was on. And it wasn't a bright light, it was dingy and dim. And they had this little pad thing outside of the door where if a kid was like kicking or punching the wall or was slamming their head or whatever, they would give the pad and put it underneath their head or their hands or whatever they needed to use it for. And then they would pin them the fuck down. And I saw this so much. I was very close to being restrained, but I wasn't. I saw that a lot, ranging from like 12th graders to literally 2nd graders being carried and escorted and pinned down to the ground by grown adults. So while you are in the building, there's at least 2 security guards on the premises at all times. And it's a giant square. There's like one door to come in and out. And it's a giant square, and there's CDR rooms along each side of the square, and then there's like classrooms lining all the walls. And there's like 3 girls' bathrooms and 3 boys' bathrooms total. They all sucked. They were all nasty. But the security guards were these like big, bulky men. And half the time, they didn't even restrain people. It was the teachers that restrained people. I don't know. There were these 2 girls, for example. I don't know why, but every day these teachers would let them out of the room into this little corner to like cool off or whatever. And one of the teachers every day would turn their back, and these 2 girls would bolt, make laps around the freaking square, screaming, running, spitting, literally spitting on people who were in the hallway. Just having a fucking fun for all. Like, where are you gonna go? You need keys to leave that pod. What's the point? And these teachers would literally just let them run. They wouldn't try to do anything. So you'd be in class and you'd hear like your door get kicked to the classroom, and you'd hear like, fuck you, or like whatever, because these little kids are running around having a fucking fun for all. Which was interesting, because even if you were trying to learn something, there are people in the hallways screaming, crying, kicking the doors that you're in. There's also, I didn't even mention this, there are no locks on the bathroom doors. So if a teacher leaves the front of the bathroom door and somebody wants to walk in on you using the bathroom, they can, which has happened to me. People there do not care. They are disrespectful. They will spit on you. They will throw hands with you. There was a decent amount of fights while I was there. They got broken up pretty quickly, but it's a literal madhouse. Even though I was there for my attendance, I still didn't go to the alternative school all that often, because I was not into the whole patting me down, not having my phone, not having food, not having drinks, not having my own bag, having to be bossed around and escorted everywhere. Not my groove. So I didn't even go half the days, even though I was there for not going to school. But each time that I would go, they would up the security. So like, what my last week being there, it went from just being patted down, turning out your pockets, getting wanded, handing them your stuff, to there was 2 tables with like security, like airport bins that you would put your things into. They'd wand it, they'd comb through every page in your binder. And when I say my binder was like this thick, it was this thick. and they would comb through your pencil case. They'd click all your pens and your pencils, make sure that you didn't have anything. If you had a hat, you took it off. If you had a hoodie, you had to like show them your hood. They'd pat it. You had to turn out your pockets, get wanded, patted down. Take off your shoes, shake out your shoes, show them the bottoms of your feet. Like, shit was crazy. Like, you literally feel like you're going into a prison. And it sucked. They had this little cutout area where, like, there were computers, and you had to sit there and do computer work, whatever. I listened to music the entire time because I wasn't enrolled in any online classes that I would have done in that area. But there were little kids who would come by. They had headphones, like, attached to every computer, like those bulky black headphones that don't fit right and are uncomfortable. They had those on every computer, and most of them were broken. Most of the computers were, like, logged off or broken or whatever, and you weren't allowed to log on to it yourself. Other teachers had to log on to it so that you didn't know the password, this, that, and the other. And there were little kids who would come over and, like, pull your hood down, pull your ponytail, take your headphones off, turn off your computer, like, boot you up out of your seat. Like, these little kids, whenever I say they're bad, they are bad. I don't know why they were there. Some of them, I'm assuming, for behavioral issues because they did not know how to act right. And in the alternative school, you are not supposed to have relationships, but they happen. Like, you're not supposed to hug people. You're not supposed to touch people. You're not supposed to talk to people, really, at all. So, like, you're isolated in a group of people. But there were some weird relationships that would happen in there. Weird. We're not even going to go into that. And in the classrooms, you couldn't have any food or drink at all in there, especially if it was, like, open. Like, I drink coffee every day, so I drink, like, a Starbucks coffee. But if it wasn't done, I'd have to throw it away. Did not matter how full it was. Did not matter that the Starbucks coffee was, like, $5. Little glass bottle ones. Didn't matter. You threw it away. And in each classroom, they had a water pitcher and, like, cups. But the water pitcher, the water that was in it was, like, super ass purified, so it tasted nasty. I don't drink water in general. I don't like water. I am a sugar person. But purified water is disgusting. I do not drink purified water. If I have to drink, like, tap water or bottled water, I will. But purified water is nasty. So they had a giant pitcher full of room temperature purified water in these little styrofoam cups that everybody has touched, and they have a basket of, like, apples. So people get to comb through the apples if you're hungry, and, like, everybody touches these apples. You can't go wash it off. If you're hungry enough, you eat these apples that have been sitting in this nasty basket full of God knows what, where people's hands that were on God knows what were touching. Like, when I say it was an alternative school, like, it was an alternative school. One of my last days being there, this kid walked in with gorilla chains on, and if you don't know what gorilla chains are, they're a chain belt where your hands are to your belt, and then your feet are shackled. And he was escorted in by cops. And during lunch later that day, I was talking to him. I was like, how old are you? Like, what are you here for? Like, why are you in gorilla chains? He was like, I'm 15, and I did, like, 4 or 5 different felonies. He named them off. One of them was, like, grand theft auto and, like, breaking and entering robbery type shit. And I was like, okay. He was court ordered to be there. And next time he messed up, he was going away. And there was a lot of instances of kids coming in with handcuffs, and at lunch, like, you had to sit with your homeroom, and if you were to get up and talk to any other homeroom, like, you would get yelled at, and you get a mark off or whatever. And, like, the messed up thing about it is that they claim that it's a mental health school, but it's a dead-ass alternative school. There are kids in there who have done robberies, done felonies, like, hurt other people, but there are also kids who do need the mental health that are in there. But it's mainly kids who were court-ordered to be in that school. And it sucks because if I would have known that, I would have done partial or something like that, because that was hell. It was literally a prison. The only difference is you go home and you come back. Throughout the day, you are under full lockdown. Thanks for watching this video. The quality sucks. I'm sorry. I'm new at this. I look busted. I'm tired. But yeah, like, subscribe, comment down below.